Welcome back on the AM show. It's time now for the news review. Just remember, the AM show is proudly sponsored by Waylead Properties. And let me ask you, are you thinking of a rewarding investment you can engage in? Waylead Company Limited is your preferred choice for such an investment. Waylead Company Limited is a real estate company with several developments to its credit right here in Accra. We're inviting you. Invest in our new development, Willow Lane, where elegance meets tranquility in the heart of Accra. We also provide quality housing at an affordable cost, flexible payment options as well. At Waylead Properties, we provide you with 24-hour security, reliable power supply, and other social amenities to make your stay memorable. So right now, my encouragement, pick up your phone, note these numbers: 0240 111 119 or 0540 499 999. You can also visit us at www.waylead.org. But let's talk water tanks now. MFA?
Well, of course, by now, Benjamin, if you do not have the tortoise on your tank, I'm certain that you're missing out. So, well, do you know the secrets to real water storage? It's simple. If your tank doesn't have the tortoise on it, then it's not the correct tank. That's right. The tortoise tank, Syntex tank, is the champion of water tanks. It is strong and durable and built to handle our Ghanaian weather, rain or shine. Syntex tank has got your back. So my people, go outside, check your tank, and if it doesn't have a tortoise on it, it's time to upgrade. Join the Syntex tank family today and enjoy water storage that's tough like a tortoise. Now you can call 0244 335 168 to buy or find one of our 400 agents nationwide, and you can also shop online at syntexgh.com. Syntex, a year strong, a year tough. Time now for this review.
You know, it just hit me. If you are investing in real estate and you are not investing in Waylead Properties, especially their Willow Lane, Usikano, ashes.
And you walk wayward.
Ashes. And if your tank, your water tank doesn't have the tortoise on it, Usikano ayede.
And that's ashes.
Ashes. Ayede. Ashes. Anyway, let's get into our news review this morning. I know I'm giving our guests a good laugh. Dr. Kwame Asah-Asante is a political scientist. He's head of the Center for European Studies at the University of Ghana. Dr. Jibril Mohammed is a senior lecturer at the University of Ghana Business School. And Dr. Clement Abedu is executive director, Africa Center for Sustainable Environment and Sustainability. Both of them join the conversation. In fact, all three of them. Let me just cross-check and be sure that all of you are on with us this morning. Dr. Asah-Asante, can you hear me, sir?
Good morning, Ben. I can hear you loud and clear.
Great. Dr. Jibril Mohammed, are you with us? Oh, I see you there. I want to hear you now. You'd have to unmute. Okay, just speak and let me hear you.
Yeah, good morning, and good morning to our listeners.
Great. Dr. Mohammed, I love your well-lit background. Well-lit. Thank you for joining the conversation. And we also have Dr. Clement Abedu. Doc, we're watching you.
Hey, Ben, good morning.
Yamenadom. Now also here.
Yamenadom.
All right.
Good morning to Dr. Asante and Jabril. Ben, the last week you ended with me. Today you are ending with me. I have a beef with you.
You have a beef with me? Please tell me before we proceed.
Yes, because last week you ended with me with the introduction. This week you are doing the same. I thought you were going to go the other way around.
Oh, sir. Oh, my apologies.
Of course.
Do you know why? I think it's the familiarity of. So this is why I probably do it that way. The first person who used to come on Wednesdays was Dr. Kwame Asah-Asante. The next person who joined was Dr. Jibril Mohammed. And now we have you. So I guess in my mind, I go according to seniority.
Very well. Very well. So good morning, seniors.
Well, thank you.
Good morning, sir.
All right. So we'll take your brief thoughts on any matters you have to share. And Dr. Abedu, I'm going to start with you. What are your thoughts that you'd like to share with us this morning, briefly, before we get into the newspapers?
Interesting to start with me, Ben. A very good morning once again to our cherished viewers. I was quite intrigued about the way MFA was going about the rhyming, the bars she was giving, saying that even if you don't go way late, is wayward. It was quite an interesting one. Yes, but so this morning, the share I want to give really is nothing to do with what the issues which has been happening in recent times, or the issues we're going to discuss in the papers. It's something to do with well-being. It's something to do with our lifestyle. Viewers, we need to understand this. Ghana is transitioning to a proper middle-income economy, and characteristic of such a transition is that young people, especially the middle class, are very zealous. They want to work very hard and achieve certain objectives, buy cars, get the houses, and live well, live good. But you see, some of these struggles, some of these pursuits come with a lot of cost in terms of your well-being. And so if you don't balance your life very well, and to know when you have to really check yourself, check on your health, your lifestyle, you may end up, pursuing all the wealth in the world, but then your health will fail you. So I just want to use this opportunity this morning to remind ourselves, especially the young people, especially those in the middle class, especially those who want to have a befitting family, to do something for their families and their communities. Be very mindful of our activities and ensure that we balance our pursuit with our well-being. Be conscious about it, do a lot of exercises, eat well, and make sure you take good care of yourself. That's the little I want to share this morning. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Very good advice. Let me get to Dr. Jibril Mohammed. Doc?
Yeah, Ben, you have been mentioning my name correctly. Today, you've gotten it wrong.
Which is it? Is it?
It is Jabber.
Oh, You know what? I think today the spelling has thrown me off. It is Jabir, right?
Yeah, Jabber.
Okay,
Mohammed.
all right. Thanks for the correction.
Thank
There's
you
been a change
again.
somewhere. My apologies.
Yeah, so this morning, I want to take you to our roads, the carnage on our roads in recent times. There has been a lot of accidents on our roads, and I think that our lives are precious, just as my colleague had rightly said about our health. I think that we really need to exercise restraint in the way we drive on our roads, particularly most commercial vehicles and even individuals. Overtakings on our roads have become too much, and it is leading to a lot of road crash. And it has a serious economic impact, social impact, and our well-being. So I will employ the road safety. I will employ the Ministry of Roads and Highway, especially to concentrate on the dualization of our roads. The big push that we have voted about 13-point-something billion Ghana cedi to do, I think that our concentration should be on the dualization of our roads. I would be very happy if we are able to dualize Accra to Tamale Road in no time, any moment from now, if you can start that process. I'll be happy if we can have the dualization of the road from Accra to Takoradi. These are two major places that we really have to work very hard to ensure that we have those road dualized. If we are able to do so, I believe that the carnage on our roads, I've just heard that, very young people are dying. Two of them from school, they wanted to go and take their school fees around the Signore area. There was a crash and the two of them died. Another one from one family, they died. So it is just too much on our roads. And I will employ the president, the Minister of Roads and Highway, and everywhere meaning Ghanaian to join me in this call so that we can work, we can all talk and work very hard to ensure that we get these two roads done. It can be done and it can be done very well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jabir Mohammed. And let's get to Dr. Kwame Asah-Asante. You have the final word on this, and then MFA will usher us right into the papers.
I think I want to look at the gold board that has come to the fore. It's a good thing, even though people are expressing a lot of concern, but I support the board and I support it with all my heart and all my might. Why am I saying that? If you read about what Sami Gyamfi, the CEO, the acting CEO, has said and has written about, fantastic. I pick from it things that the board is going to do that is going to support this country. One, for us to be able to generate a lot of revenue from within. That will go a long way to show up our financial needs that we need in this country to undertake a lot of development programs. Two, the issue of smuggling is going to be minimized, if not eliminated. But we are thinking that, yes, in the interim, at least, is going to minimize a lot of smuggling that goes on in that area, and is going to help us a lot. My joy also comes from the fact that a lot of foreigners who have jumped onto this bandwagon, taking undue advantage of the country, is going to be a thing of the past. That if you're a foreigner, they are not preventing you from being part of the process, but that you can place an order and show the country the destination for which you want them, the substance to be, and they will ship it for a fantastic idea. And then also is going to support us to deal with the issue of Galamsey menace, that you have nobody to sell go to. You have to go toward the board. If you have any of such minerals in your hand, you go there and you say, and that will deal with the problem head on. I support Gold Board, and I want them to take a cue from the experiences of Cocoa Board, and then use it as a guide so that we'll have this board forever and ever.
Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts. And speaking of Gold Board, coming to you, MFI, that situation where we see that forest reserve with 10,000 strong people who have created a township engaging in illegality. And the question is, why is it only coming up now? I am shocked. I had chills running down my spine yesterday when I read that news, exactly midday yesterday. And especially, in fact, beyond the mining was other crimes that we... Prostitution, child trafficking.
Child trafficking. And I really am wondering, will this now feed into the government's new approach or direction where if they arrest an illegal, or if they arrest a foreigner engaging in illegal mining, they're going to be shipping them outside of the country? Because 10,000, if not all of them...
And not all of them are Ghanaian.
Imagine, yeah.
There are foreign nationals in there. In fact, in terms of the child trafficking, the suggestion is that some of these girls are trafficked from Nigeria, and there are Nigerians involved. There are nationals of other countries involved, and they're engaging. Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
Illegal mining, prostitution, who knows what sort of racketeering, money laundering is going on there. I saw people with mattresses and the rest. You know what? Burn everything to ashes. I mean,
it looks
if
like
you go to certain
burning.
countries and you engage in illegality, they don't say go and pick your money that you've secured through illegal means. That is, if you are not, properly, you didn't get into the country through the right means. You are deported. You are caught and deported. Burn everything. Why are they allowing? Because look, these people know exactly this township was set up for a specific reason. They've engaged in illegality for only God knows how long.
Very strange how we're unable to identify. It will be a good time, Benjamin, to actually engage Dr. Clement Abedo on this one, especially because of, the expertise on the environment and sustainability. Doc, let's even look at the bigger picture, Benjamin, where now would have to deport or ship foreigners who are engaged in illegal mining. This is a real test case, a real good, very vibrant case study for the government. What's your take on this, Doc?
Thank you very much, Emifa. So the Galamsey issues, and I mean what we are gathering now. Personally, I am not surprised because I know that there are several others, of such sites across this country where similar characterization with similar features. In terms of the numbers, in terms of the activities and the things that these young people or these people are doing there, and also all the illegalities that are perpetrated by these young people or these people out there in this very community where now they are in the news. Really, it gives us, or it tells us the bigger picture when it comes to issues of Galamsey in this country. And I've always said that if we want to just address Galamsey as if it's someone going into the forest or someone mining or undertaking all sort of hazard activities, no, it's very wrong. The issue is so now complex and multifaceted that you cannot just look at it from the fact that people are mining. A lot of things are going on in these mining communities. And the stakeholders, the land, I mean, the custodians of these lands, the chiefs and the rest, they cannot tell us that they don't know that these communities exist. The assembly members and all the stakeholders, they don't know. They cannot tell us that they don't know that these communities exist. They know all the activities that are going on. But you see, it has become more of a community. It has become more of a certain society whereby illegalities are being reinforced from different angles. Because if I do my illegal mining activity, if I engage in my Galamsey, the money that I get, I use it, for example, to patronize these girls into who are into prostitution. Now they get the money, they tend to use the money deposit on drugs. And so it becomes more of a cyclical reinforcing situation whereby everybody supports everybody's activity or whatever one does. So it has become a whole society where, unfortunately for us also, I mean, we have just allowed the law to relax on them. And it's become more like an anarchy. It's more like they are now a community whereby nobody supervises them, nobody controls them. And so they are living in their own world. And that is a serious issue for us as a country because, you see, this, I mean, as we are seeing in the videos, what can these people do? Because they have the machines, they have the drugs, they have the money, okay? They have everything. They are so connected and united with so much resources. And if we don't sit up as a country, we are ditching ourselves. We are digging our own grave as a country. And so I am happy that this issue has come up, but government need to understand this.
Okay.
Galamsey must be treated as a serious criminal issue and all its related activities.
I couldn't help but agree with you better, Dr. Bedu. And Dr. Asah-Asante, given the power, what would you do with these 10,000 people? What would you do with them?
Please, can you give me a little background? Because I was speaking whilst you were showing, so I didn't...
Right, so what has happened is that we have discovered a community near the Subiri River, Forest Reserve, I should say, and about 10,000 people in these communities are engaged in illegal mining, child prostitution, drug abuse, money laundering, and it was discovered just yesterday. We broke the news on midday yesterday on JoyNews. And then we're asking that this is quite a vibrant case that fits in the new direction that this government is seeking to go, where if they find or if they arrest a foreigner engaged in illegal mining, they're deciding to want to deport them instead of punish them here. Now we have about 10,000 persons, and not just 10,000. A good number of these 10,000 people are foreigners, they're not Ghanaians. And I'm asking, Doc, given the power and authority, what would you do with these 10,000 people? Because they are not just mining, they're also engaged in illegal activities in this country, prostitution and the likes. What would you do with them?
Every civilized society is regulated by law. So once we have law in place, the law should take its course. If there are breaches of the law, appropriate process must be followed to the court, and where we will hear the statement of the court in terms of what the judgment of the court. That is the way to go. But I detest that idea that they want to deport foreigners who have committed crimes in this country. What kind of theory is that? Go to any part of the world, commit crime. It doesn't matter the relationship between that country and your country. I tell you, you go through the full hawk of the law. So why are we kidding ourselves here? It is very discriminatory because the same offense, when you commit and you are a Ghanaian, you serve the normal prison sentence. So why are they different from this? The authorities should shy away from this before we get angry at them, because that is not good enough. Let them face the music so that it will serve as deterrent for others who want to emulate same. Look at this den. It's a den of criminals with all manner of activities going on. But my worry is that this particular place is owned by a people. And they have their leaders, chiefs and opinion leaders. Is it the case that they've not seen? The district chief executives, the security apparatus who operate there. For the security, I don't hold brief for them, but I know that matters of this nature, they've written their report long time, except that the political class have not acted on this. But if this is the case, it should be a learning curve for this government to stem this tide and then get to the logical conclusion of this. The policy of deporting people who have committed crimes, particularly in the area of Galamsey, without walking them through the courts, must be out of the calculation.
Dr. Jabril, I'll have you also comment on this, but quickly, Benjamin, let me just run them through what we have on our papers. Dr. Jabril, okay. There's a story on the news center that would interest Dr. Jabril, but please go on. What's your reaction to this discovery or uncovery that we brought on the JoyNews channel yesterday?
Well, the question I'll ask myself is that who allocated the land to them? Is it that the landowners don't know that they are there? Certainly, they sold the land to them, and they have given them the authority to be able to settle within that area. If the owners of the land don't give them that authority, there is no way they can ever go there to settle. You see, the problem we have in Ghana is that it's about land tenure system and the land structure. If the government were to own every single land in this country, I believe that we could have planned the country and planned it very well. One key thing you have to understand is that if you arrest somebody and the person has committed a crime, you try the person within the laws of the country that you have arrested the person. Even though we have extraterritoriality in terms of some of these things, but I believe that these are not people found within the embassy of those countries that you say that they have run to the embassy, and for that matter, you have to send them to their country for trial. Once they found themselves within your territorial borders, you have to try them and prosecute them. And I think that these people should be prosecuted and used to reclaim the lands that they have destroyed. One of the key problems we have found ourselves in the Galamsey area is the reclaiming of the lands that has been destroyed. If you arrest people, take all the money that they have gotten from the Galamsey, use it and reclaim the land. If you do that continuously, you will notice that people will not go there again for anything. When you prosecute them, make sure that every aspect of their properties, you confiscate them and hand them over to the states and use these resources and reclaim the land. One of the key problems we have in Ghana is that when people commit crimes and we arrest them, we leave their properties to them. You have to claim the properties and use it to settle whatever you are told that you are supposed to do. Once you don't do that and you continue to give them the opportunity to go, they will come back and continue to commit the crime that they have to commit. So the punishment that we are meting out is not just enough to deter people from committing crimes in Ghana. It's not just only Galamsey. Every aspect of Ghanaian politics, every aspect of our lives, people are highly irresponsible. And these irresponsibilities is what is affecting the state. Once we are able to crack down irresponsibility, I believe that people will sit up and this country will change to be good.
Right. Thank you. Benjamin, would it be a good time to bring them what's in front of the newspapers?
Yes, I mean, definitely we ought to do that. And since you have that story as well, which delves into this issue, when you get there, I'll share some more thoughts on that. But let's get into the papers.
Right. So the News Center this morning is reporting that I'm certain you'd have that as well on the Daily Graphic. But the IMF Ghana reached staff level deal for $370 million is in front of the News Center. Also, Minority donates $400,000 to fire victims at Kantamanto and Edu Market. I'm certain that they've put that into a bulk amount. It must have been in tranches because then yesterday the Edu Markets, the Minority caucus donated 200,000 Ghana cedis. While the News Center is reporting that we've reached a staff level deal for 370 million, the Minority, led by Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam, ranking member of Parliament's Finance Committee, also thinks that the IMF exposes government's fiscal data manipulation. The story is on page 4 of the News Center. Now, this is what I think will interest Dr. Jabril, because 752 sadly killed in 3 months, a 23.5% rise or increase in injuries, crashes, vehicles involved, and pedestrian knockdowns, all recorded have been increased. And that's from January to March this year only. We've lost 752 lives to road crashes. And also the custodian this morning, NPP holds crunch meeting today, and a queer committee report is in focus. We'll bring you details of that when we can as well. And the Accra Times as well supports Feed Ghana program. President Mahama urges stakeholders as well. And Dr. Asah-Asante's topic for today, the gold board, is also highlighted on the Accra Times this morning as gold board strikes get out of the local gold trading market. And this has got to do with the timelines that they have given to all the foreign miners in this country. Benjamin, what do you have on the Daily Graphic?
So let's get into, I think you started, was it the News Center?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, so we can get into the stories you want to do from there, and then I'll come in.
Okay. So maybe, Dr. Jabril, you already have called on the government to do something about our road and especially the crashes happening. But again, I'll just give you a little bit. It says that new data on road traffic crashes and fatalities across the country from January to March 2025 shows that 752 people lost their lives on Ghana's roads. And this marks a 23.5% increase in road traffic deaths compared to the same period in 2024. And it raises urgent concern about road safety across the nation. I'll stay with you. I ended earlier with Dr. Jabril, but I'll go back to Dr. Asah-Asante. Dr. Asah-Asante, it's been years since we've been talking about road crashes in this country. What differently, really, can this government do about road crashes? I recall that the new Greater Accra Regional Minister made a promise that at least all the street lights in Accra would be back on, and she's happy to report that 70% of that has been done. We have a different report of that. But beyond our street lights staying on, what really can we do? What else can we say to at least prevent or reduce the carnages on our road?
Thank you for the opportunity, MFA. I think advocacy should continue to be sustained. Advocacy about the need to have our lives all the time on the road. So that means that road regulations and road education must continue and must be strengthened. That said, we can also look at the issue of engineering on our roads. What have some engineering problems that we have? Some of these things, those of us who are ordinary people, but talking to experts, they give you some of the engineering problems that we have. And we believe that all these things must be looked at generally so that we can fix the problem once and for all. Then we as a society, beyond advocacy and all that, we should know that we treasure our own lives. So you will not be careless. You will not want to do things that are untoward and the rest of them. Once we get the basis right, I think we should be able to reduce the carnage. But above all, we should be able to crack the whip when the need arises. That calls into implementation, the rules governing driving and road usage. That should be done. For political science, we will tell you that state capacity, one of its branches is what? The regulatory capacity. Any state that fails to be able to what? Make laws and then implement the laws, I'm afraid you are gradually drifting into what? A failed state. Is that where we want to find ourselves? Please, we need to look sharp.
Right, Dr. Jabril, please take your bite on this.
Okay, well, I continue to lament. It's just about planning. The way and manner in which we plan our roads are bad, especially interior roads. You will notice that some of the roads constructed interiorly, the gutters are left open. Yesterday, when I was coming home, within Lagos itself, and Kisima, I saw 2 vehicles stuck in gutters. They drove and they stuck in gutters because we left the gutters open. Elsewhere, you will never see any gutter being opened. And you will never see a road being constructed without you having walkways. We do not have walkways. Pedestrians are not respected. When a pedestrian is supposed to cross, there are no crossways. You go to most of the interior roads, you will not even see a crossroad. You will see a road, a house, building, wall being just closer to the road. You can live in a civilized society like that. It doesn't happen anywhere in the world. So the city authorities must sit up. AMA and all the city authorities, they have to sit up. They need to create walkways for pedestrians. If we don't have these things happening, there is no way we ever solve most of the problem. If you break down the statistics, you realize that it's not just only road crashes. It's because of pedestrian knockdowns. Why? Because when pedestrians are supposed to cross, there are no street lights or there are no waiting equipment for them. When you come to a roadside you want to cross, you have to stand there and press on the wait. Elsewhere, that's what happens. When you press on the wait, your light will come on, the vehicles will have to stop, and you cross. But the person is struggling to even cross because the state has not made the provision for them. So like Asah-Asante says, state capacity is very important. What critical role is the state playing so that we can solve all these problems? Once we are not able to do that, we should forget about it. So the state has to come in strongly, the assemblies have to come in strongly, and we have to redesign our communities. Any property on the road, we have to break part of them and create pedestrian walkways. And that is the best way to be able to solve most of the problems. And also to ensure that we are able to create places for them to be able to cross, zebra crossing. Make sure that you put a street light there and put a stop wait there so that they press and wait. When it is time, they can cross and go. That is the only way we can solve most of the problems. If we are not able to do that, we should forget. We will keep killing people. Just within 3 months, we have lost 750 lives. That is highly significant. Just look at the population of the country. If you strike it, the distance, you will see that we are having about 0.something% of your people dying through road crashes. And it is unacceptable as a civilized state.
Dr. Abedu, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Jabril. Dr. Abedu, please, you can comment on this.
Yes, I think I share with my colleagues the issues they are raising. Really, it's about us as road users, both the drivers and the passengers. It's about the institutions and also about the road infrastructure. But you see, let's be realistic here. In this country, we have a lot of drivers or car owners whom for over years have never been to DVLA, but they are always renewing their roadworthy certificate. Yes, you see, these are realities. So, in the first place, what are the checks being done on these cars to even ensure that the cars are roadworthy? And they are paying for them. Okay, so at the end of it all, the cars are on the road, but they are unchecked. These are the realities from the ground. Now, let's assume that the person is not able to get the roadworthy done. A policeman finds out on the road. What happens? The policeman will just, at that point, there's negotiation. The person settles the policeman and then goes away. The person overspeeds. What happens? He or she is being caught. And then, so I mean, the issue really is that we as a people in the first place, we are not even aware, we are not so conscious about our actions and inactions and how it leads to the threatening of our lives. And so it becomes like when it hasn't gotten to a turn where you have to experience the accident, you think you're always doing the right thing. That is not the case. If you don't do the right thing and we don't ensure that the right thing is being done, somebody else will go and cause the problem and then you'll be affected. And so we as road users, as drivers, we need to be mindful that, hey, we need to get that awareness, that understanding, that knowledge, that this is what I have to do when using our roads, whether the road is good, whether the road is bad. Of course, as it stands now, we cannot get, we cannot tell the government to fix all our roads within 1 year. It's not possible. Our economy, the way our economy stands now. So you, the person using the road, you, the driver, you, the pedestrian, you, the passenger, ought to understand the reality that this road that I'm using is in this shape, this road is in that shape. And so I need to do A, B, C, and D to ensure that I am safe. Your personal safety should be important to you. Now, if your personal safety is not important to you and there are laws to ensure that you do the right thing, then equally, like my colleagues have already mentioned, the institutions ought to be serious. But we are just relaxing everything and people are just dying. When it comes to road accident, I am quite passionate because I have very close colleagues who have lost their lives through road accident. And so it's something that we need to look at it very carefully. The police and all the law enforcement agencies should do the right thing, to make sure the laws are applied. Governments must also, ensure, do its best to ensure that at least roads are in a very befitting state where people can use with some level of comfort so that we don't, to the extent that that will not threaten our lives. And we as a people should also, take care of our own safety and ensure that we are always cautious when using our roads.
Right. Benjamin, there's something Dr. Abedu said that I'm not guilty. I'm not guilty, but I know people who are watching. I know people who are watching. They're very guilty. How are you renewing your license and your roadworthy without going to DVLA? Dr. Abedu, I'll report them all to you. But Dr. Asah-Asante, I'll come back to you. Let's talk about IMF. And I'm certain that every Ghanaian or every citizen in this country, if you hear IMF in your mind, well, it's a burden to the government, which will be shifted onto you, but at least you feel that there's some help coming your way. So I can report that the IMF and Ghana have reached a staff-level agreement on the fourth review of Ghana's $3 billion extended credit facility program, paving way for $370 million disbursement, and still will be pending on the IMF Executive Board approval. The News Center also has reported this. Dr. Asah-Asante, what does it look like? What is the picture looking like for this new government?
I'll still go back to state capacity. There are four aspects of it. I've touched on what regulatory capacity. I'll look at the other one, that is extractive capacity. And every state should be able to generate its own resources to run its affairs. Once you are not able to do, you have weak state capacity. And when all the four are gone, you are in a failed state. If you look at the way we are handling revenue mobilization in this country, it's funny that we don't care a hoot about how to ensure value for money and how to make sure that there is prudence in our financial management. So all the time, we misbehave financially, we throw all cautions away because there is a body called IMF that we can run to. That has emboldened our government over the years, and we go and we are sorted out. I'm looking forward to a day that IMF will say, go back and right the wrongs, and that I have nothing for you. That is the day that awareness will come. Because I don't see, now you see IMF with a cane at our back, and they say, do this, we do that, and then we applaud ourselves that, yes, we have done the right thing, we are meeting this condition, we are quick to come on air that we have done ABC. Why don't we get the basis right here without going into them? We can do it because we are surrounded by a lot of resources that once we manage them well, we should be able to overcome these difficulties. So the issue of IMF, I always see here And if I'm talking about, there's always a pain in my heart because my leaders have failed me, and that they are lazy thinkers. If they think outside the box, they will not take us to what IMF and all the conditionalities that we have to be contended with. It's sad, but here you are. Yeah, but I am praying for a day, and that we will get a leader who will right the wrongs, and then the little we have here, manage them well, that there will not be the need to go to IMF. Because, mind you, IMF has not developed any country, and that you need to develop your own country. And that is it. IMF is not a philanthropic organization. Aristotle has said that even philanthropists, they are those who have and they want to give. Is IMF one of them? Please, a word to a wise.
Thank you, Dr. Asah-Asante. And clearly from next month, especially 3rd May, if you're paying for your utility, indirectly, IMF conditionalities will be screaming at you because of the increase by PRC. But I will also go to Dr. Jabril, and you touch on the IMF, please.
Well, thank you. IMF, one of the paper I'm currently doing is on debt burden and macroeconomic instability, using evidence from Ghana. One of the key findings I'm having is that when IMF is present in the country, then the authorities behave well, the economy tends to do good. The moment IMF leaves, things get worse. Why is that so? Is it that we need, people have to go catalysis on our leaders to do the right thing, or they just don't want to, they just cannot do what they have to do? You see, one critical thing you have to understand is that there ought to be a collective bargain between the elite and the governed. So the elite, who are those governing us, and the governed, we those who are the followers of the country. If they don't bargain very well, so that they can gamble for their own development by saying, okay, fine, let's forgo our self-interest now, so that we can put things right, and in the long run, everybody will benefit. That is the way to go. What is the contribution of every single Ghanaian towards revenue mobilization? Are people running their businesses and failing to pay their taxes? Are the authorities doing the right thing to ensure that the taxes are efficiently utilized when they are collected? These are staggering questions that we have to be asking ourselves. What is the assemblies doing to ensure that they do a lot of revenue mobilization? Why can't we win some of the assemblies off the government payroll and tell them that AME, KME, Takoradi Metropolitan Assembly, generate your own resources, pay yourselves, and pay the rest of the money, use the money and develop your local authorities? Why can't we do that? Until we find an innovative way of modeling our revenue and modeling our development, we'll continue to revisit the IMF all the time. We need to be proactive in getting away from the IMF. This is the 17th time that we have gone there. Sometimes we rejoice, oh, the IMF, we have reached a staff level. The IMF is coming to give us so and so and so. And we are doing what the IMF wants. So what is it that when the IMF leaves, you fail to do what we have to do? And the research findings are showing that. So we have to sit up, whether President A or President B, NPP or NDC, they need to be serious people. And that is the way that we have to go. If we are not serious, we should forget about development. Gambling for development is important. The leaders must trade off today their selfish interests today and let all of us work collectively for the benefit of the country tomorrow. And if you are able to do so, we are going to cut the dominance of IMF. We're going to IMF all the time. We're going to cut it off. But when we are not able to gamble between the elite and the governed, there is no way ever go anywhere as a country. Trust me.
Well, let's quickly get into some other stories as well. Just some quick reactions on the township on the Subin River, the forest reserve. I think we should prosecute. And I think that is something we are all saying, that we should stick to what the Act says. If you get these foreigners, imprison them, prosecute them, and if they deserve, imprisonment, imprison them before you deport deport them. And something on my mind, 10,000 people, this township of 10,000 people didn't just spring up. You didn't just spring up and see 10,000 people there. It's been going on for a long time, and we've turned a blind eye to it. We can't allow them to enjoy their ill-gotten gains. And on the PURC increments, so Nanaya Ajantwa, when she came through, made mention of the fact that it's not, these technically have nothing to do with the IMF. They are, there are the quarterly increments,
Absolutely,
right?
yeah.
And last year, before the transitional period, some things happened. So the increment didn't happen. And now it's accumulated. And so there's a double whammy, which should have gone up to about 27%. But they halved it and are giving 14%, which means that this is debt we're going to have to pay as a country if we are going to keep the IPP satisfied, if we are going to keep ECG and the rest afloat. So interesting times. But let's get into the Daily Graphic newspaper quickly. Goldbach revokes gold dealers' licenses. The story is on page 13. Dr. Nuama gets AIES top role. Africa Standards Organization Commonwealth deliberate on AFTA. Then there's government IMF agreement brings in $370 million. We've already done that story. E-Waste Fund accrues over 60 million Ghana cedis. On the back page, don't take unapproved medications. Expert advises public. This one, And then NYA holds stakeholder engagement on apprenticeship program. So I'll start from there. The president of the C4C Homeopathic Pharmaceuticals, Dr. Michael Tremating, has advised the public to be mindful of patronizing medicine not approved by the Food and Drugs Authority, saying such drugs could have adverse effects on an individual's health. Some people are battling with kidney and other related ailments as a result of some medication which are unregulated or even unknown to authorities. I'll just share the story. I think it was in, was it Kufuridia? Yes, there was this hospital and I had a relative there. I went through. This young man, I'm sure he would have been less than 20 or just about 20, apparently was suffering what the hospital said may have been malaria or some sort of typhoid fever. Someone had given him a local concoction. He had taken it. First time I had ever seen this in my life. The young man, and by the way, he passed, sadly, in the hospital. His skin, you see how when there's a drought and the land is cracked, that's how his skin was from head to toe. And from the cracks was coming pus.
What?
Yes. Apparently, someone had given him a local concoction to help cure the ailment. He had taken it, and I guess he had some allergic reaction. Wow. This was what happened to the young man, and he died. I saw. He passed. So sometimes when you talk about these things, a lot of people, I don't know, we are very courageous. So you see someone hawking on the street, you buy, you put in your body without even knowing. And some of these, they don't have, X milligrams or you are just taking it. It's crazy, and that's why kidney disease is also on the rise. Let me go to page 13, and I think that's where I'll wrap on the Daily Graphic. Pursuant to the presidential assent to the Ghana Gold Board Act, Act 1140-2025, passed by Parliament on March 29, 2025, all licenses issued by the Precious Minerals Marketing Company, that's the PMMC, or the sector minister to small-scale mining companies to deal in the country have been revoked. The new act makes the Ghana Gold Board the sole buyer, seller, assayer, and exporter of all gold. It also talks about the fact that in a bid to honor the contractual obligations between licensed gold buyers and their off-takers, persons or companies holding the appropriate licenses issued by the PMMC or the Minister of Mines until April 30, 2025 have until that time to purchase gold and export same. Likewise, all foreigners have been given until April the 30th to exit the local gold trading market. There's also E-Waste Fund accrues over 60 million Ghana cedis. It's set up by the government to receive the advanced recycling levies, that is eco-levy on imported electrical and electronic items, and it has accrued over 60 million Ghana cedis. On the international front, investment app freezes in Nigeria cause anxiety. You can check out details of that from the papers. And Trump blames Zelensky for starting the Russia-Ukraine war. Donald John Trump will never cease to amaze me. Trump administration freezes $2.2 billion in grants to Harvard University, and there's been a lot of standoff between their government and Ivy League institutions as well. Gentlemen, I need your brief reflections on these stories. I'll start with you, Dr. Mohammed.
Well, after the Go Board, it's important. I believe that they are starting very well. And when the law is fully in place, the government will be able to finance all the resources is needed. It is going to be another bonanza to us. Just like we have the cocoa, this is going to be giving us regular income. Maybe this is the time that we are going to be fully benefiting from our gold resources. One of the critical researches that I did some time back was to look at the shareholdings of all the gold mining companies that we have. And surprisingly, I realized that government have very little shareholding. Even Ghanaians have very little shareholdings in them. And once you don't have shareholdings and the money go into an escrow account, it doesn't come back to your country. Most of them hold their accounts outside the country. So when they sell, the money is there. You are recording a very impressive GDP, but in reality, the money doesn't come home. And that's how come that our currencies continue to depreciate. On the issue of the recycling waste, electronic waste, I believe that the money should be used properly. One of the problems we have in this country is that one fund being set up, the money is being used for something else. So we need to be able to direct our resources into usage of where the resources are supposed to be allocated for.
Right.
And we are able to do that, we can solve our problems. And lastly, on the issue of the over-the-counter drugs, or drugs that are not approved by the drug board, I think that Ghana, we need to be serious about it. Our lives are very important. People should not just be taking drugs anyhow. We have to take drugs that mean well to us, not drugs that are going to be killing us, just like we are dying like frogs. We need to get out of it.
Dr. Asah-Asante, brief thoughts on these. We have limited time.
Yes, I'll look at the unapproved medications that are being abused in the public. This is not news because we've seen it time and again. We believe that the authorities, let me say that the FDA have done a lot in this area because when these things started in the 80s and 90s, you see all manner of quack people parading the streets and roaming in rural areas. They've been able to get a lot of them off. We should continue to be vigilant in these areas and report all those who are illegal operators in this industry to appropriate authorities to root them out. I think that is the way to go. And then people should also seek proper medical attention than resorting to these quacks. It will not help them. It will rather worsen their situation. I will also look at the PRC and then what we should expect in terms of increment of utilities and all that. Some of these problems have been there. Look at ECG, poor management and the rest of them. They can't even collect money belong to them and all that. Once we operate on that score, obviously we are going to have difficulties and problems of this nature will be pushed onto the consumer ultimately. We need to fix those problems so that we can deal with these issues head on.
Right.
The issue of, e-waste is an important thing because you go to Agbogloshi, I don't know the situation now, and that's where you see a lot of electronic materials which are not in use and, have all manner of health consequences, but people do not know and they play with it and all that. So if the state want to take a proper measure to dealing with this thing, very well.
All right. Dr. Abeid, very quick thoughts on any of these matters?
Thanks. So I'll touch briefly on the unapproved drugs. You see, when a patronage or when consumption of a particular illegality is perpetuating, it tells you that there's a leakage, something is wrong with that very system. And so I just want to say that we should look at it from the bigger perspective of our entire health system. What will inform somebody, for example, not to go to the hospital or an officially sanctioned facility to get a prescribed drug and take it? What are the challenges in terms of assets? What are the challenges in terms of infrastructure? What are the challenges, even in terms of knowledge base? All these and more come together to form the entire health system. And so if we are finding a lot of patronage or people resorting to this unapproved drug, it means that something is not right within the entire health framework. And that is where we have to look at it.
Right.
The second issue I want to look at is the good board briefly. You see, I'm very happy about the good board. It's a good thing. I agree with my colleagues and all the commentaries coming around the good board. But this is just a word of caution to Sami Jemfi and the good board team. Gold cannot be likened to cocoa. Cocoa, as a cocoa farmer, or if I'm trading in cocoa, I cannot buy the cocoa and hodge them in my room for how many years? I would definitely be compelled to sell it either to cocoa board or to all the other areas where cocoas are sold. But gold is a certain resource, which if I don't even export, which if I don't even sell, I can keep as a source of wealth for years, for decades. And so we need to be very mindful about the illegalities which can still emerge out of the gold board. If I am able to use my own ways to get the gold and decide not to trade it through the gold board, how do you know? It's in my room. And so we need to be very mindful of that and ensure that we don't get overwhelmed that, the gold board is there and so it's going to be an absolute solution to our problems.
Right.
We still have to develop very robust mechanisms to ensure that people will not be incentivized to keep gold or to have gold as a source of wealth or as a store of value.
Right.
That is the thing that I want to take on that. As for the e-waste and the environmental issues, I'm from the environmental side, so I'll talk and talk and talk. But by and large, we have a lot of environmental problems in this country.
Let me just wrap with some. Just wrap with some.
So I just want to say that the money be prudently used. Hello, Benjamin.
I can hear you. Have you landed, please?
Yeah, so I'm just saying that the funds should be prudently used to promote environmental issues in the country. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me wrap with some headlines, and MFL will also do some headlines. The Inquisitor says, under IGP's watch, police in monkey duties as personnel destroyed titanium 123 property. Gold business is for gold board only. Then there's NHIA to expand free dialysis nationwide, and CRC receives over 500 proposals from stakeholders. The Herald says, Mahama government arrests $5.3 million embassy property fraud suspect. Energy Minister labels petroleum hub game changer. More questions about GBC boss reappointment. It goes on and on. Chief of Staff declares Saturday's Kwewu Business Forum non-partisan. Tema Committee 25 residents cry out over worsening water crisis. And Kofi Aban, police accused of abuse of power in land dispute. Jubilee House National Security IGP petition. I've seen that story in two different papers. Let me just look at the details from here. So it says, on the matter of Kofi Aban, police accused of abuse of power in land dispute, Jubilee House National Security IGP petitioned. And the story says, a Ghanaian real estate developer has accused Assistant Superintendent of Police Malaika Jabril Al-Hassan and businessman Kofi Aban of Rigworld of spearheading some unlawful demolition. So there are a lot of, from the way I see it, allegations in this story. But just to cite, the developer, Christian Kpaku Abose, insists that the demolition was executed without a court order and directly contravened a July 2024 High Court ruling. So there's a situation in Pram Pram. I cannot mention certain names because a lot of these are allegations, but according to the developer, before the February 2025 court ruling, which reaffirmed Titanium 123's legal rights to the land, Mr. Aban arranged a meeting at the residence of the Pram Pram chief. And he asks, if the land generally belonged to him, why was he trying to buy it from us? So that's a developing story that I guess we'll look into. My only interest in there has to do with the fact that the Jubilee House and National Security and the IGP are being petitioned because there is a suggestion that some security operatives are supposedly involved. We'll leave the courts to do their work on that matter. The Ghanaian publisher Galamsey exposes Sam George's hypocrisy. Government cooked fiscal data. MFA, you brought us that. The other stories we've looked at. MPP holds crunch meeting today. Okwe's report reforms high on agenda.
Well, we already did all the headlines on the newspapers, especially, let's see, the custodian, I'll just remind you, the MPP holds crunch meeting. Benjamin already brought you that. I'm certain that we brought you all the headlines on the newspapers, Benjamin. It'll be
anything else you'd like to delve into before we go?
I'm just interested in how some men are living by drugs on the streets, purporting to want to correct erectile dysfunction on herbal medication.
That matter.
Yeah.
That matter.
Yeah.
This table you are shaking.
The table is firm. Won't shake it. We'll just wrap on the news.
And I mean, those who are using aphrodisiacs, you are young, you are capable, but I think there are so many misconceptions. So you see 20-something-year-olds, and the doctors are reporting that a lot of those lead to kidney disease and all of that. Mm-hmm. You're already young, you are capable. Why are you going for?
Benjamin, young does not amount to capability.
No, but relax. A lot of them use these, they end up using these, and by the time they are in their 30s and 40s, they can't even perform. So which one do you prefer?
It's the same time to end the news review.
It's a good time.
It's a very safe time.
We have to go, gentlemen. Unfortunately, we are not going to take your views on this matter, but thank you for joining the conversation. Political scientist and head of the Center for European Studies at the University of Ghana, Dr. Kwame Asah-Asante, joined the conversation. We also had, joining the conversation, Dr. Jabir Mohammed, senior lecturer, University of Ghana Business School. And we also had Dr. Clement Abeidu joining the conversation as well. He's very passionate about sustainability and the environment. Gentlemen, thank you for joining.